American guys, you're American.
Well, we have to talk about the main guy who breaks the mold here. At one point, Beeman and Felson, those are the characters that Nick Cage and Ron Perlman play. They're really like Budweiser guys. Like they could be in a Bud Light commercial. That's what I felt like. But they team up with a thief whose accent is Chicago, right? It changes quite a bit.
I'll say that. Like when they meet him in the stockades, he almost sounds like he's doing a British accent.
Right.
But then that radically changes, and he sounds like real tough and Brooklyn-y.
Well, he is he's an actor named Stephen Graham. He plays Al Capone in Boardwalk Empire. He also plays Al Capone in Season of the Witch. And what's weird about it is that he is a British actor. Yet in this movie, movie's like,
I can't believe.
Yeah, I'm a swindler. It was those terms, those weird kind of D&D style terms, cracked me up too. He got busted for swindling. Hey, what am I? I'm just trying to be an honest living.
I also love that they tried to like make everything, kind of historical. Like instead of like on my count of 3, it's like on my count of 3, we will pull this cart forward.
There will be stuff like that, which is amazing, and in some some approximation of a correct dialect. But then Ron Perlman seems like his character does not need any of that.
Yeah.
At one point, he just goes to Nick Cage, "Let's get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
And another point in the movie, he says, "Shit."
Yeah.
Shit.
I just feel like they must have been like, "Cut, Ron, that's actually not the line. The line is this," and he was like, "You know what? I'm not going to say that.
Not going to do it.
You guys, did you get me saying shit? Okay, good. You're going to keep that."
He kind of played him a little like Hellboy.
Yeah, it was like Hellboy. That's maybe where Hellboy. This is a pre-story.
And I just saw Guillermo del Toro's Kronos last night, which I hadn't seen before.
I haven't seen that.
And Ron Perlman is in that as well. And so, like, the last 2 days for me have been...
Was he like Hellboy in that movie, Kronos?
He was a little gangstery, yeah. He was kind of a badass gangster. Oh. By the way, side story, when I used to go to the Brass Monkey karaoke bar with friends years and years ago, Ron Perlman used to hang out there sometimes, and I saw him sing Frank Sinatra.
Oh, wow. He is like a big softy that way.
Big softy, just like lumbery Ron Perlman sitting on a stool just singing that old black magic. He was awesome.
Well, if you see this movie, you have to watch it for Ron Perlman's reaction shots, which they cut to him too many times where he's not saying anything. He just looks like, "Can you believe this shit?" Like, that's basically his underscoring look.
And which, by the way, I feel like makes him untouchable. Like, Ron Perlman is the person who comes off the best in this movie, because I almost feel like every shot of him is to the audience, like, I know this is garbage, but I'm fucking getting paid crazy right now.
His backstory is that he is Ron Perlman, who's been transported back in time to be in this movie.
You should have to play Ron Perlman in every movie.
Yeah.
Here's my guesstimate on what happened, how this movie got made.
Yes.
Okay. Nick Cage is in Prague, banging chicks with some rich Czechoslovakian guy. And he's like, "Nick, I have a movie for you, buddy." And so, and then he agrees to it. He agrees to it because the director and the writer's name were both insanely foreign.
Yeah, it was. It was like Dominic Sena.
And the only reason that this movie got any kind of theatrical release was Nick Cage. This was absolutely a straight-to-cable movie.
Oh,
top to bottom.
This is going to be #1 in every foreign country, but not here.
The effects were terrible.
The effects were so bad.
Well, and why did the entire... Like, I felt like daylight didn't exist during the medieval time. I mean, there was, like, only one scene that was in daylight.
Well, there was the great, of course, CGI horseback riding.
Oh, that's true.
Between Nick Cage and Ron Perlman, where it's like, here they are on horses. Now, in close-up, CGI. It's the worst green screen horseback
ever.
The whole movie is terrible green screen. The whole Crusades fight looks like there's 10 guys on a green screen, and then they just filled in the rest.
I know that, maybe this is crazy, but I just want to reiterate for everybody listening, this movie starts with like a 10-minute montage that goes over the course of 10 years of them being holy crusaders, killing heathens, like murdering women and children, and they are our heroes.
Yes, but they were murdering heathens. But when Nicolas Cage accidentally kills a woman, that's when everything changes.
Wait a minute. He doesn't just kill a woman. He kills a hot woman.
Yeah.
She's a hot woman with perfect teeth.
Who looks very surprised.
Everyone had
very
perfect teeth in this movie.
And then he looks around, but that's what's crazy. He looks around and he's like, holy shit. The floor in this place is littered with women and children. is that what we've been doing for 10 years?
You know,
Is
the
that
problem
enough
is,
to?
I just swing and stab. I don't normally look at them.
So wait,
I've never made eye contact.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Hey, holy guy, you know we've been killing women and children, and the guy's like, they deserved it. God wants it.
Wait, so are we to believe that they had been doing this the whole time? That was the first time he ever just took it in?
Well, no,
It's gotta
I
be.
think that they were killing like other soldiers.
Right.
No way.
They were killing. You're saying they were killing
10 years.
children
10
that
years.
entire time.
That's what the Crusades was. It was a holy war. They were like killing everybody.
He had a crisis of conscience.
It's not 10 years into it, he stabs his first woman. I mean,
You're right,
come
it's
on.
been a while.
Meanwhile, they are fucking blasting girls. It's like, fight, and then they've just got up to their
beer.
eyeballs in
At
whores.
like
Ron
pubs.
Perlman making out is not a pretty sight.
Never want to see that again. Never want to see that again.
They were drinking at the Cat and Fiddle, like with the darts. It was so.
That was the only color in the movie, was that one shot.
The thing that struck me as being hilarious was Nick Cage's hair is kind of permed,
Yes,
right?
like a page boy, but curly page boy.
And then pulled back like a girl for most of the movie. But then there's one scene where his hair is down and it's straight, like it's different hair and a different color.
What was a different
different
wig?
wig.
Right.
It was a different wig.
Well, I also didn't realize that the plague makes you look like just a bizarro, like garbage pail kid. Like everybody looks like, you know, like Pussy Patty. Like they just have these like they look.
By the way, that would read like Pussy Patty.
Oh yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, they could.
That'd be the really cool card that you trade to your
Yeah,
friend.
the
Like,
Pussy
more
Patty.
Pussy Patty. Oh man.
You know what? Whose hair was really upsetting was the priests.
Oh
Who
yeah.
had like a shaved
The monk-
yarmulke.
the-
Like
the monk-
The monk.
yeah, the
yes.
monk
That
haircut.
was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
So basically, yeah, they go out with this
I
little
love that
team.
you're still trying to make sense of it.
it's an insane movie, but it has something that I feel like all movies have been doing lately. A lot of CGI wolves, and the wolves are frightening enough, but these are like vampire wolves. Like they all morphed, and in case you missed it, they show you like 7 wolves in a row morphing. It was like, yeah, we get it. The first time they're all
not
vampire.
really morphing to much more than what they are, just with
they were a little
CGI
scarier.
faces.
Yeah.
They were a little scarier.
Less hairy, more muscular.
It's like in vampires, like are like, "Rrr," and then their face gets a little bit like kind of crazy, and their eyes go red, and they have fangs. That's what the wolves do.
Yeah,
and I was like,
but this is not a WB show. Like
Yeah.
this
I
is
wish it
a
was.
feature film. and I also was completely upset by the fact that it's not about witches at all. There was nothing witchy about it, and I feel like, and big spoiler alert because you should not see this movie. But their big turn was, nah, she's not a witch, she's a demon.
She's the devil.
Yeah, was it the devil or was she just a demon?
I think she was a demon.
Because they didn't kill the
I'm
devil.
sorry, I thought she was the devil.
And then when they killed the demon kind of went up to heaven, not down to hell.
No.
And then everything went better.
The other thing I loved was there's a scene in which they all go to like this abbey where the monks have the book that's going to expel the demon, blah blah blah, and all the monks have died and are tied to their own desks, presumably so that they don't become possessed and attack everybody. Right? Cut to, they all become demons get inside them, they become possessed, and the ropes don't matter.
Yeah.
The monks just walk away and attack everybody like fucking ninjas.
And apparently, it's very easy to just take someone's head off.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they cut off more heads in this movie so easily. So easily. Which,
Then there were also the monks that they first saw at like the cathedral who just died like mid-sentence. They weren't strapped down at all. They looked like they just died like reading something.
to me, again, the whole thing to defeat this demon, they need to read this prayer, which somehow started like 3 scenes before the end of the scene, and the prayer just never ended. Like, this guy reading a prayer for minutes, like 20 minutes. Like, how long is this prayer?
Do you guys feel like, I would like to research this. Is there religious money behind this movie? Like, this movie is very, has a very kind of, strong Christian message in a weird way.
Most horror supernatural movies do.
I guess that's
in
true,
the sense
yeah.
where it's like, the teenagers having sex get killed, all the sinners die, and then we have to release his soul. Like, it's so much of that.
Well, I mean, again, the Catholic Church is right, and Nick Cage loses faith, and then at the end is like, hey, guess what? I was wrong.
But the question, the beginning scene, the opening scene, the witch comes back to life, but was she a demon, or was she just a witch?
That was the same. She was the demon.
She was. That was the same.
That was the same demon. All right.
That's how I read it.
Oh, okay.
I read it that it was the same demon.
Same demon.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that brings us to I think we've talked a little bit about it, but our basically the time in which we ask, what the fuck?
What the fuck are you doing?
So this is the time where we just pick out our favorite movies, point in the movie that was so crazy that we have to just highlight it. We've talked about a lot already, but is there any moments?
I gotta say, the point that was the most insane to me was at the very end, when all of a sudden there was a narrator. That we hadn't heard at all through the rest of the movie.
An hour and 39 minutes of no narrator, and then at the last second, narrator pops in.
Not only does she pop in, but she cuts in saying, like, so, at the end of this, it's as though she's been talking to us the whole time. It was insane.
I really, there's a recurring theme in which Nicolas Cage is having nightmares about the woman that he stabbed, and it wakes him up from his sleep. And in the last of these nightmares, he has the dream where he's stabbed the woman, and then she has the same look of horror on her face, but then she puts her finger in her mouth sexily, and like sucks her finger like a bloody dick because there's blood coming out of her mouth. And I was like, what the fuck is this about? This is bananas.
And that's what the demon...
He's been alone for a while out there.
But no, but to me that was what the demon used to tempt him. Like, oh, well, get into your dream and make the woman that you killed suck her bloody dick finger. What is that kind of mental game?
That I really was like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? This is absolute insanity.
Couple moments for me. Yeah. Again, right when you first see Nick Cage and Ron Perlman, I immediately was like, oh, we're in it. Just the smug, just that smug
it's like
sort
a cop movie.
Yeah, just like a cop movie. And by the way, he's not in amazing shape in the sense of how is he able to wear chainmail and swing a broadsword?
He's lumbering around.
Neither of them are in great
shape. They're taking on armies of thousands.
And they're apparently the best in the army, right?
And they're really famous.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who they are.
So famous that Nicolas Cage needs to hide his face as if there are pictures going around of these. There's no television back then. Like Nick Cage hides his face, but Ron Perlman doesn't hide his face at all. Ron Perlman's just out and about.
Nick Cage loves the supernatural. He loves supernatural movies. Like, if you look at how many supernatural, he loves to take these weird supernatural films, and I think that's fine. But this one was baffling. I think for me, a big. I thought the twist was going to be, oh, the girl's not a witch at all. It's the priest. The priest is the one, because he was privy to the same information she was.
I like this.
And she kept saying, like, don't leave me alone with him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to end up being the Black Witch, and I thought that would have been a pretty cool turn. But just the turn that she's not a witch at all. Like, they just throw the fucking premise right out the door. It's right out the door. The movie's called Season of the Witch. Should it be called Season of the Demon? Because that's really what's going on. There was no witch season at all.
No, there was no witch season.
Violated the very premise of the movie that they put forth.
Well, did anybody else feel like the stuff about, like, don't leave me alone with the priest was like an allegory for, like, pedophilia amongst priests?
The worst Catholic Church. The cheapest way to do it, like, oh yeah, don't leave him alone with the priest.
Oh, but then he's a hero at the end.
Wait.
So that was,
Well, what about this? They expel the demon, right? They expel the demon. They say the magic prayer. Demon bursts into flames and gets sent up to heaven. And then the couple, like Nick Cage dies or whatever, and then you look over and the girl whose body it was inhabiting she's just a wet naked girl on the ground.
Yeah, like, she's wet and naked.
Where did her body come from?
And why is she naked? Like her body just came back to Earth? I mean, I have a whole problem. My what the fuck moment is really about the end, when the demon finally shows itself as this kind of badly CGI'd Jar Jar